Hello, it's Tuesday. Don't usually record on Tuesday. It's supposed to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. But I didn't do it Friday because we headed out of town and then we didn't get back till late last night. So I'm making one today again. So I just stay in the habit of doing it. And I'll still try to do one tomorrow. So we went to our family cabin over the weekend up near Yellowstone. And we had some friends come up with us, we invited, and they decided that they were gonna take care of all the food. Since we were like hosting and we're gonna pay for the cleaner and whatnot, they're like, hey, don't worry about the food, we got it handled. And the old me would have been like freaking out. What do you mean you have the food? What are you gonna bring? I gotta pack my own coolers and I don't know what they're gonna bring. This is gonna be so awkward. How am I gonna get around this? I mean, it just would have been like just this flood of like, blah, blah, blah. And at the time I didn't think anything of this, right? But as I was reflecting and talking to some clients earlier today, I realized like that was actually so nice that they could say, hey, we're taking care of the food, and I can be like, sweet. I'm so glad we don't have to stop at the store on the way up. We don't have to bring a cooler. We don't have to plan the meals, what everyone's gonna be eating and getting enough. And I was so grateful that we could just show up and have food that was ready for us to eat and people that were willing to make it. And not worry about what was going in it and not worry about, you know, what we were having later that night. Just again, having food be exactly what it's supposed to be, right? Just like a part of your life, but not like you're planning your entire life around the food. And so those are the things when I think of them or I remember, I like to share, because I think it's important to it's important always to remember why you're recovering, but sometimes we forget. Sometimes kind of get like flustered. Certainly emotions can kind of like make your why very hazy. And when your why gets hazy, suddenly like your decision making is very poor in terms, you know, in favor of recovery. And so I think it's important if I try to be more mindful of ways in which my life is different now since recovering versus when I was still very much attached to and struggling with an eating disorder. Because daily life is so different. It is so different in every way possible. Sometimes in my life now, I think like, how on earth would I have been able to do, because I'm so busy now. Like I really do feel like I'm so busy without an eating disorder. Like how would I have ever done that? Oh, I know how I would have. I would not have shown up for my kids. I would not have, I mean, I don't know if that could have hung in there that much longer, not having an actual wife who was present. I wouldn't have the friends I have, right? Because I didn't really have close friends when I struggled with my eating disorder. And now my friends are super important to me. I love them. I love being around them. They've really enriched my life. And so all of these things that you, I hope, are recovering for, hold on to that hope and continue to, if you want to imagine or visualize or meditate about what your life can feel like when you don't have an eating disorder, and you find that that helps, do it. What I wanted to talk about today, I had a client that was definitely seeking permission to eat, right? You know, well, you said eat like 5 times as much as I was eating. So does that mean like safe foods? Like should I eat safe foods? Or like, what do you think? Do you think I'm gonna say, yeah, eat 5 times the amount of food you're eating and make it all safe, right? If you're actually interested in rewiring, why would you do that? Why would you eat more food but just all safe food? If you're actually interested in rewiring, you know you have to learn to give yourself permission to eat. Why are you asking permission? And I'm not just speaking to this client, obviously this goes across the board. Everyone experiences these same feelings that come up when, you know, there's a conversation about potentially you needing to eat more or you're wanting to eat more, right? And you're just seeking in roundabout ways or very direct ways. How am I gonna get permission for that? As a coach, I'm very mindful of that. I do not, my goal is not to get people feeling like they need to run things by me or even tell me. Like I rarely ask people like, how much are you eating or what are you eating? Because they're searching for a reaction, right? They're searching for a response. And then whatever I say, it's gonna get turned and twisted and it's like, she thinks I'm eating too much. Or she questioned that one thing I was eating, and then what if what if she thinks that's too much sugar? I mean, it's just like, I'm so disinterested in what people are eating in recovery, but you should be interested in what you're choosing to eat in recovery, because it needs to be intentional. It needs to be food that is scary to you. What's scary to one might not be scary to another. I have no idea what scares you. I mean, I could probably take a pretty good guess, but sometimes there's these different kind of branches that people will kind of like veer off into regarding what scares them, that I'm not a psychic, I don't know. And so when you're in recovery and you're trying to make decisions, I want you to ask yourself, am I really trying to rewire? Am I really trying to rewire? And then another practice or tool I want you to start implementing into your recovery is identifying emotions. Well, hold on, let me back up. When you're trying to make a decision about what to eat in the moment, how many times are you successful at being like unrestricted, 100% went for it, I nailed it? Probably not a high percentage of people are able to do that when you're in the heat of the moment and it's like the emotions are so high and you're all flustered and you're thinking about what you ate earlier and later and what your boyfriend said to you earlier and the test you have later, and you have to be able to cope and you can't do this and it's too busy and your brain's just like, how are you seriously gonna be like, bam, I'm having pizza for lunch, I eat the whole thing? It doesn't happen. So the night before, I want you to actually like, and this just like at any point, hopefully soon, write a list of all the things that scare you. All of the situations that scare you, all the specific foods that scare you, all of the maybe times of day, like just get it all out there, all the things that scare you. You might need a full journal for this. And then when you sit down at night to be intentional about your next day, I don't expect you to write out a meal plan. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. But I want you to be intentional with what are you choosing to eat and why? What's the why behind it, right? Because you could think of a million reasons why you shouldn't eat these foods according to your eating disorder, but why are you choosing to eat these scary, scary foods in your eyes? Definitely in your eating disorder's eyes. Why are you choosing to do these things? And if you can find a why, and the answer, there's a secret, the answer is so I can rewire. That's gonna always be the right answer. Always. That's always gonna be the right answer is rewire. But if you wanna elaborate on that, you can. But that is why you're doing all of those things, because you're not going to rewire if you don't run into those things. To no longer have an eating disorder, you can't have fear of food, right? Those two things those don't go together. Like full freedom, fear of food, I don't see how those are gonna like interact and work well together in your future. So you do have to, at some point, challenge these things. And that's up to you as a coach. I don't say you have to do this now. If you wanna do this in a year, sure. If you want to play games, back and forth for 6 months working with me, sure, do that. That's up to you. But if you really want to recover, and eating disorder recovery is really hard, why do you want to stay in it for so long? Why are you playing games? Why are you dragging your feet? Why are you doing the same thing every single day and getting nowhere, right? And so just decide, hey, actually, you know what? All of this is being eaten today, tomorrow, and the next day for many, many, many months because I want to rewire. And I'm just going to keep going after this until I do feel like my brain's changed. And you'll know when it has. So that's my message to you today. Again, I can't recap it because it's all over the place, but please don't seek permission to eat. Give yourself that permission. That's a very like intrinsic power I feel like you got to dig up and then hold on to throughout your whole recovery. Because if you're relying on other people, partners, friends, parents, coaches, psychics even, they're going to fail you. They're going to fail you. They don't know how hungry you are. And you have to just own that hunger, and you have to give yourself full permission to eat it. And then second, some tools that are going to actually help you to really honestly do that. Make decisions, be intentional the day before, and make decisions that are like non-negotiables that have to happen the next day. Because at that point, usually at night, most people say that's when they're the least anxious and you can think the clearest, and usually you're running through your day that's going to be perfect tomorrow, just a strong recovery day. But then there isn't really anything in concrete, like set, written, like, hey, this is happening. And then what happens, emotions take over when you're in the moment and you don't make the right choice. So when you are already committed and have already decided the day before what you're going to do, you're going to find that you're so much more successful, because when that emotion comes, overwhelm, fear, doubt, right? Like questioning, same kind of thing as doubt. Unsure, these are all synonyms for doubt. I can't think of other feelings. Potential regret, I don't know if that's a feeling necessary, but dread kind of sometimes when you're just like, those emotions that are being generated, typically emotions coming from an eating disorder aren't gentle. They're not just these little like quiet, I kind of think I might feel scared. It's like screaming at you. It's like it takes over your physical being, right? And when that happens, you can't make clear decisions. And if that is happening, even after you've committed the night before to doing these things, this is what I want you to tell yourself. I cannot make decisions based off of any emotions coming from my eating disorder. I cannot make decisions based off of any emotions that are being generated by my eating disorder, but I can make decisions based off of hope, excitement for the future, coming alive again, having, feeling energetic, feeling like connected, like all of those kinds of feelings. Great, run after those. Keep making choices that are really fueling those emotions. But the other ones, you have to learn to seriously detach yourself from it, kind of come outside of your head, have this out of body experience, and just go through the motions of what you need to do. Okay? Your emotions are excused. Eating disorder emotions are excused, and you cannot entertain them. Because if you know you're going to recover and you really want to do it, why are you entertaining those thoughts? It's making it harder. It's making it harder. So please use that list of things that scare you as your cheat sheet and your secret code to full recovery. That's it. You have the whole thing in front of you. If you want extra support in that, I'm more than happy to help you with it, but seriously, that is your guide. And you'll get 100% if you can follow that guide. Everything that scares you, you're gonna accomplish it. Are you overwhelmed yet? Probably, but you can do it, okay? Oh, if you're overwhelmed, you can't make that decision that you're not gonna do it because that's being generated by your eating disorder. With that, I'm done. Okay, have a good day.